So we're going to look at the song Killing Floor by Howling Wolf. So let's just have a little listen to a couple of seconds of it.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. You should check out Howling Wolf, he's really cool. Okay, so right there you can hear it's just a classic, and Howling Wolf is awesome, an amazing singer. But his guitar player was called Hubert Sumlin, and he's a legendary guitar player, and he was playing those cool little riffs. So let's dive in and take a look at what's going on. So really when you're jamming and playing the blues, I'm going to show you this song in a minute, but when you're jamming and playing the blues, there's kind of 3 basic levels that you want to be able to do. So you want to be able to play the basic rhythm, the chords, and then have some kind of a comping part, an accompaniment, like a little riff or a repeating part. And then also you want to be able to play lead. So let's start by just going through the basics of understanding the rhythm and the structure of the kind of musical journey that is a 12-bar blues. So what we're going to do is break it into 3 4-bar segments. That's the easiest way to think about it. So segment 1 is the first 4 bars of a 12-bar is all on the 1 chord. So you're going to basically be doing for 4 bars like that, right? But you want to get so familiar with it that you don't get lost during those first 4 bars, that you know what's bar 1, what's bar 2, what's bar 3. And just the more you play it and the more you play that form, you'll start to get this kind of 6th sense of when the chord change is coming. Now, once you know that also enables you to identify when something is different. Like, for example, there can be lots of variations on that 12-bar blues. One of the most common is called the quick change. And that's basically when you change to the 4 chord on bar 2 and then go back to the 1 chord again like this. So that's a common variation for the blues. Okay, so then you go into segment 2, which is bars 5, 6, 7, and 8. And this is the transition to the 4 chord. So in the key of A, you'd be going to D. And you're going to do that for 2 measures, then go back to the 1 chord. So you'll go up to for 2 bars, and then back to the 1 chord like that. But the key here is this is actually a subtle modulation. It's actually a key change when you change to the D7 chord, or blues is all about 7th chords, right? So when you go to that D7 chord, it's actually a subtle key change. So even though you're still playing a blues in A, all the chords and licks kind of change with that chord. And that's really where the magic starts to happen. In fact, a little good exercise you can do when you're playing on the 1 chord in the first segment. You play in 5th position, all right? Then here's a cool little trick that you see guys like Stevie Ray Vaughan do all the time, is when you go up to the 4 chord in bars 5 and 6, just move up and play that same lick, but up here on the 10th fret. But the only thing you have to watch out for here is whenever you get to this note right here, which is the minor 3rd, you have to give it a little push so that it reflects the major 3rd of the chord. So it's that sound there. So you just, on that first finger on the 3rd string, you give it that little tweak and it sounds cool. But that's a good exercise to do. And then you get to the next segment, segment 3, which is basically the kind of climax or the turnaround, where you go to the 5 chord and the 4 chord, and then you do what's called the turnaround, where you go from the 1 to the 5, which leads you back to the beginning. And that's where you get all the cool kind of or even all those kind of cool chromatic licks and kind of interesting licks. They all work really well over that turnaround, those last few chords, because you have that sense of kind of movement and resolution. All right, so if you look at Killing Floor, this song is just a regular blues. It's not a quick change. So you've got 4 bars of A, and you go to D for 2 bars, back to A for 2 bars, and then the ending is E, D, A, E. So you want to memorize that. You want to internalize that. You want to let it really become part of your soul. So get this song really in your soul. Just this basic rhythm. I'll go over the comping part in a minute. There's lots of cool stuff in this song. We're going to look at Hendrix's version too. Okay, so as a guitarist, you want to be able to have that basic rhythm part down, and then you want to be able to kind of comp as well, and that means like accompaniment. So that means instead of just playing the basic chords, you want to be able to play some riffs or some interesting stuff. Not the lead, but just some kind of like auxiliary, colorful things that will add to the song. So whether it's a catchy riff, or in the case of this song, it's got this cool walking bass line. And it just moves up. So that's something where one guy could be playing the chords, and one guy could be playing that little riff, and it'll sound awesome together. And then when it comes to actually playing the lead, the third part, knowing and playing some classic licks and being able to kind of weave them into any song is key. So if you look at legends like Stevie Ray Vaughan or B.B. King, they had these signature licks that they could play in any key or over any song. So in this song, it has the signature lick. And then you just move it up and move it back down. So it's basically that idea there is these sliding sixths. And you can kind of play around with that and do variations on that. So you want to be able to collect cool licks like that you can use in your solos. And check out this video here where I talk about how to jam and how to play licks in the style of Stevie Ray Vaughan, B.B. King, Eric Clapton, and kind of the theory about it. Okay, so next, let me tell you a quick story. I remember one time when I was touring and playing in a band, we were opening up in a pretty big gig. We were playing to like 10,000 people, and we played the show. We were the opening band, and it went fine. And then the main band played, and then at the end, the main act asked us to come back on stage and do a jam session with them. And this was one of those moments where I got up on stage and I just kind of like was a deer in the headlights. For some reason, I couldn't figure out what to play or how to play. I just felt really disconnected from the music and disconnected from my guitar. It was kind of one of those strange out-of-body experiences. And it was horrible. It was hellish to be on stage in front of 10,000 people and just like, I don't even know what to play. And it was just a blues song. It was a 12-bar blues. And the thing that happened was I got in the wrong headspace. I just kind of got in my head and I got self-conscious and I wasn't able to play. So let me give you a little formula for how to quickly get out of that. There's a couple of things that you need to be able to do. And it's to do with how you're looking at the music. You know, music is about communication. It's a language. And it's not just one thing. You need to almost be able to zoom in and zoom out and focus on different aspects of the music and then tie it all together. And that sounds intimidating, but you can do it very quickly. For example, you want to be able to look at the big picture of the song, which would be like, what's the chord progression, what key it's in? And then you want to be able to zoom in and look at some of the more micro details of like, you know, what's the actual specific feel of the song? And then you want to zoom back out again and go, how can I be creative with the song? You know, how can I express myself? And then you want to zoom back in and be able to kind of pull out some of those specific licks that you can play, your signature licks, and fit them all together. So you can see it's like a process of different things happening, and you can't just focus on one of those things. You have to be able to kind of tie all that together. So for example, let's look at with Killing Floor, let's kind of zoom in and look at the intricacies of this song. Okay, so first of all, start by identifying what's going on. So is it swung? Is it shuffle? Is it straight? You know, what's going on with the beat? So this particular song, it's a straight basic rock beat, but it's got a syncopated 16th note feel, which is really cool. And he's playing these kind of seventh chords here. So that little rhythm there is a signature kind of blues rhythm that would be found in certain types of blues songs. It's not a shuffle. A lot of blues songs will be, and that's a shuffle rhythm, whereas this is a straight rhythm. It's based on 16th notes, but it's very syncopated, which means you're accenting the offbeats. And this rhythm here, when he plays this, that's a killer rhythm right there. It's kind of like that Bo Diddley rhythm, or that kind of shave and a haircut, 2 bits, bump, bada, bump, 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 bump. So you can see the accenting is on the offbeats. So if you kind of lock into that, then you can play that on the song. You can kind of get that little groove down, get it built into get it kind of programmed into your muscle memory, and then play that in the song. Okay, so let's zoom back out and look at how we'd be creative because improvisation is all about creativity and tapping into, you know, making something new. So let's look at the probably one of the most creative guitar players of all, Hendrix, right? How did he interpret this song? So let's take a little listen to him playing it. This is amazing. Okay, so I'm going to keep it in A, right? Just so we're all in the same key, but he's tuned down there. So he's doing the Hubert Sumlin riff, but kind of doing it with a certain flair, and then he's playing that kind of Hendrix style. So he's doing the kind of Hendrix thing where he's doing like that train beat with his strums, adding in his Hendrixisms. So he's taken that same song, but he's added his own creativity to it. So cool. And then he's adding all the cool Hendrixisms in there. So basically, you want to start by zooming out and really understanding what's the basic structure of the song, and then zoom in and see if you can figure out the specific groove and feel of the song and kind of get inside some of the licks and, you know, build up a little library of licks that you can play in a blues, and then zoom back out and say to yourself, how can I be creative? How can I express myself and have fun with this? And then ultimately, it's almost like you have to study something and get to know it really well, and then almost like forget everything that you've learned and just tap back into being in the moment and expressing yourself and being able to kind of play from your soul. All right, so hopefully you're going to have fun with this. I'm going to just jam in the key of A and you play along. Try out some of these ideas. You play lead, I'll play rhythm. But remember to subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Leave some comments. We can chat in the comments, ask questions, or just tell me about what you're into. And hopefully you're going to have fun jamming. All right, so let's get into it.